Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your July 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Leo be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. How will Leo be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels. There we go. How will Leo be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. How will Leo be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and we have the High Priestess. In our inner self, we have the Knight of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the Four of Pentacles. In our hearts, we have the Ten of Pentacles, and we have the King of Wands. We are represented by the Wands in the Minor Arcana, by the Strength card in the Major Arcana. And then we have the Nine of Wands and the Moon card, which absolutely falls into line with the moon that we are talking about today. And this is also Pisces energy. Okay. So let's start talking about this moon because there are a lot of secrets that are revealed during this time. This moon is going to be a little bit more complex for us than it is going to be for others. And that's also because the full moon, not the full moon, the new moon on the 8th of August is in Leo. So we're going to be very pulled towards this new moon, towards changes, towards, mysteries, and also towards a bit of complexity. So that's already in the cards, in the stars for us. But let us start with the full moon. And the full moon is on the 23rd of July, and it is in Aquarius. Now, I know some people might say, well, it's in Capricorn. It's in Capricorn until 8:20 8:12 p.m. And at 8:12 p.m., it changes into Aquarius, and the full moon comes into all her glory at 10:37. And this is all Eastern Standard Time. Now we have here a surrender to the divine, which is always what the moon calls us to do, and it increases our power. It increases our ferocity of being, to know that as we come into the fullness of ourselves, we surrender to the divine, and this really moves us forward. Now, with the full moon in Aquarius, it is telling us to show the world the real you. Now, this gets to be a little bit complex because the moon is all about home and family and intimate relationships. And for this time, we're going to be really dealing with complexities. So we're wanting to show the world the real us, but opposing forces keep on coming into play. Work us, home us, our wants, our needs, our spiritual us, our worldly us. Everything kind of gets muddled up together during this time, and we have to say, who is it that I want to be, but how is it also that I want to be moving forward? Emotions and instincts really reach their peak during the full moon, so we have to listen to this. And it brings us to this place of increased emotional awareness and a need to follow our instinctive and our intuition as our guide. During this time, though, we're going to see relationship dynamics really, really clearly. And we're also going to see the negative causes of disharmony within these relationships. So following our instincts, following our intuition is going to be something that we really need to say, you know what, during this moon, to show the world the real me, I have to step into the power of myself. I have to open up the door. Now, the moon is quincus Venus, which increases our need to feel loved and for affection. Now, this increases everybody's need for love and affection. So we can find people to be a little bit needy without realizing that they themselves find us to be a little bit needy. So there's this bit of a pull and a take during this time. This increases the tension between us and our loved ones. But this also increases the relationship tension because we're hypersensitive during this time, because we have this imbalance around our emotional support and the way that we're embracing love. And so we have to be really open with this and honest with this with ourselves, because it's not only going to be with our relationships with everybody else, but it's also going to be with our own relationships, with us feeling loved, with self-love, and this sense of having worth about ourselves. Now, the sun is quincus Jupiter, which creates this tension around our personal success, around the way we see ourselves as successful individuals. And what's going to happen during this time is that it creates this tension because we're always thinking, I just have to succeed a little bit more. So people are going to look at us and say, wow, you're really lucky. You're really doing a great job. We're going to look at others and think, wow, they're doing better than me. So we need this balance to come into play here as well. But what this also does is it puts a lot of our own identity into what we are achieving. And so with the sun quincus Jupiter, we're always going to think, I can just push a little bit harder. I can just do a little bit more. And this is going to be a time where, because we're putting our worth in our achievements, it can build problems around greed and guilt and addiction. And so we have to be really, really mindful of this, especially as a Leo, as a person who really wants to succeed and has the new moon energy of Leo coming forward. Now, with Venus and Jupiter opposite each other during this time, this is a fantastic time for socializing and loving and relaxing, but this can also breed laziness and carelessness, which is going to go in complete odds with the sun quincus Jupiter, and also it's going to pull into and feed off of the insecurity of the moon quincus Venus. So do be mindful of this. But it's time to show the world who we truly are, what we truly want, what we desire. And now on the 8th of August, we have the full moon, we have the new moon in Leo. And the new moon is always about new starts, beginnings coming, walking from one portal to another. And the moon here says, the new moon says, confidence is your key to success. But we have to be very mindful because during this time, the new moon can amplify our ego and our pride. So it's going to be this fine line of saying, okay, well, what is confidence and what is pride and ego? Because the new moon is squared Uranus, which brings sudden and unexpected change, but it also brings instability, chaos, and this kind of revelation energy, this sense of things just being revealed and revealed, and it can really knock us off our game. There will be this feeling of impending change. I can't stop this change that is coming, which brings us to anxiety and nervousness, and can make us rather abrupt in things. I just need things to change. I just need to leap. Now, this new moon again amplifies the ego and our pride, and is strong in urging us to just break all restrictions and say, kind of screw it all. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to jump. I'm just going to see what happens. And it can make us rather willful and rather arrogant. So we have to be really mindful of this, that there are going to be conflicts of the ego coming forward. And we have to find that balance between pride in ourselves, confidence in ourselves, and ego pride just taking over. This isn't a good time to be impulsive, but you will never feel a stronger urge to be impulsive than during this time. Maybe never is a harsh word, but it's pretty going to be close. So during this time, don't be impulsive. Don't sit there and just say, you know what, I'm just going to jump and see what happens. This is a time to embrace flexibility, creativity, and really being mindful about the changes that are coming forward, because we're going to be very stubborn to sticking to our routines, to saying it has to be just like this. And this is going to be a time where we have to say, you know what, let's see what happens. Because if we are opened, the universe is going to send us the most powerful, brilliant messages about change. If we are opened, we're going to see new paths coming our way and new opportunities, guiding us. But we have to keep an open mind. Now, let's see the energy that we need to be mindful of during this moon. What is the energy that Leo needs to be mindful of during the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And it's the Prince of Pentacles. It's slowly and steadily moving forward in prosperity and making that our only goal. It's boiling everything down to money, everything down to, what can be done to better ourselves, which sounds like a really good thing. But remember, anything too much is going to be bad. It's kind of like when you have a piece of chocolate, it's delicious. When you eat a whole box of chocolate, your stomach feels sick. So during this time, we're going to be really drawn to people who are ambitious and driven and who are slowly and steadily building their way forward. We're going to be ambitious and driven and slowly and steadily moving our way forward. And what we're going to do here is that we really forget about everything and everyone else except for our goals and what we desire. So that is something that we have to be mindful of. That's something also that's going to be very, very, very alluring to us. Now, the chakra energy for this time, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, guide this reading, and show me clearly, is the grounding, the Earth Star chakra for us, Leo. And with this grounding, it's really looking at our roots, looking at what's nourishing us, looking at how we're growing ourselves, building ourselves, moving ourselves forward. And this is going to be a time where we have to reach for the sky. And we also have to make sure that our roots are deeply planted into the ground. There are roots of plants that just skim the surface, and those trees wind up toppling. We have to say, what am I feeding myself with? What is the soil that's around me? What's the spiritual energy that I'm taking from the earth, from the people around me, from, my world? How is it letting me show the world the true me, or how is it denying me and cutting me down? It moves us to the death card. It moves us to the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. This sense of deeper wisdom coming in. This sense of, I'm not who I once was. I am who I need to be right now. I am always changing, always evolving, always gaining and understanding. And that is empowering, that is emboldening, but that is also bringing me to this new place in the world that's having me stand in strength and in understanding. We're at our roots right here is change. And that's going to be such a big part of the new moon on the 8th of August, but it's also such a big part of us stepping into our own light, our own power, our own illumination of existence during the full moon on the 23rd of July. And this new moon, this full moon in Aquarius comes again on the 22nd of August. The full moon in Aquarius shines forward, and here we have to be aware of it. We have to be aware of showing the world who we truly are, where we truly want to be, and how we embrace and embolden ourselves. So there's a sense of luck being with us, because the side here, just see this as kind of that lucky bone. I don't know if it's in a lot of traditions, but I know in Italian traditions, there's that horn. It's a lucky horn, and in other traditions. So here, there is a sense of having this luck with us, but it's also the harbinger of change and also the harbinger of endings. We're going to see certain things ending, dying away, and we're going to see ourselves stepping forward in a way that we might never have thought we could step forward. We're going to see ourselves embracing a part of ourselves that we thought hidden away for too long, or we thought had become irrelevant. But because of the High Priestess, we're seeing things that were once hidden to us. And it's so interesting because the Knight of Pentacles is an energy that's very powerful and positive for us inwardly, but it's also an energy that can corrupt during this time. And because we're seeing deeper, we're looking at things more openly, more honestly, but also not with the same naivety, not with the sense of everything's going to work out, or not with just the here and now ramifications of things. We're looking at the longer haul. We might actually find that certain stories that we liked listening to before, or television shows like murder mysteries or things like that, we find rather sad because we just think of how a life was changed irrevocably during this time. And that's going to be part of the High Priestess coming in. Nothing is going to be quite as it seems. It's all going to be layered. It's all going to be deeper. And that's what we're going to see with the people around us. Nothing is quite as it seems. Everybody is more layered. Everybody is more nuanced than we thought they would be, or than we had expected them to be. But also, nobody is perfect. And that's going to be a very powerful realization during this time. It moves us to the Knight of Pentacles, slowly and steadily moving towards prosperity, slowly and steadily, reaching this point of awareness, awakening, this point of powerful comprehension of self, but also desire. And so during this time, as we start to see things more clearly, we're really opening up a sacred part of ourselves that we might not be ready for in our journey right now. And we might need to say to Spirit, you know what, this is too intense. I kind of need things to be dialed back just a little bit. But the moon is going to illuminate things in such a way that it is powerful, that we are armed for the success that we want to nourish within ourselves. We just have to really make sure that success doesn't become the only thing that we are focused on. And it's not that success isn't the only thing that we're focused on. It's other people's idea of success. It's what the world says success is, instead of the moments that make us smile and make our hearts sing and make us feel in love with our own world. Now, with the Four of Pentacles, there is this need to rest, and there is this need to let go. There's going to be this need for meditation, for greater harmony of the inner self and the heart and what we desire. The Four of Pentacles, for me, when we see it with the pentacles over the chakra flows, it's a stagnation. But here, that stagnation is being ruptured, and it's a sense of floating in freedom and looking at what has made us stagnant over time and saying, this isn't my truth anymore. This isn't what I desire. This isn't what I need. I'm releasing it. And as I release it, I release the ways that I have kept myself imprisoned through other people's words towards me, through my own ideas of how I should be limited, or what success is, or what will make others happy instead of what will make myself happy. And as we start to free ourselves, and this is all around prosperity, we start to move towards prosperity and bounty, we start to look at things more openly and honestly, we start to call in a wealth that means something to us, a wealth that lasts for generations. Now, I wish upon each and every one of us this overflowing of the bank account, this sense of just money coming in and coming in. But with the Ten of Pentacles, it's a prosperity granted, a completion of a cycle around wealth. And it can be money or something we value as much as money. There's also this sense of communal wisdom coming forward. I can't do this on my own. I need to have this sense of a tribe, this sense of family, the sense of clan, the sense of history, really moving me forward in this tide. We can really find, and Spirit is showing me, the sense of connections through our dreams to our ancestors, to those who have passed, to those who have touched our lives. And it doesn't mean that this person has to be related to us, so it doesn't have to just simply be ancestors. It can also be friends that have passed, or wisdom that really inspires us. And having dreams about it, having our subconscious and our conscious kind of have a conversation that really opens up our eyes, really pushes us forward, and it brings us to this place of the King of Wands. So we're going to be more in our masculine energy space. We're going to be more of a king. And I see the king as the actor upon the stage, the one that people's eyes turn to. In our hearts, in ourselves, we're going to have people paying attention to us, taking note of us, whether we want it or not. That's really not going to be relevant. There's going to be the sense of standing in our power, embracing transformation, embracing the healing power of the flame, but also the transformative power of the flame. And people are going to see that shining within our hearts, shining within our emotions. And this can be a time where we feel more vulnerable because people are taking notice of the way that we are evolving, the way that we are emboldening ourselves, the way that we are moving forward. So here with the King of Wands, when we step into ourselves during this time, and also when we embrace our emotions and the wealth of emotions that we have and the power of the love that is around us, we're going to see our world opening more and more and more. We're also going to find ourselves tested and people, pushing our limits at times, saying, are you ready for this? Can you handle this? Well, what about this? And this is a time where we have to lead with the intuition of the heart that the full moon gives us and say, yes, emotionally, I'm ready for it. No, emotionally, I'm not. I have to be true to my heart. I have to be true to my intuition. With the Nine of Wands, there's going to be a trickery around the magic that we are creating. Now, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is somebody who's battle-weary, head in a bandage, really leaning on the wand for support, thinking, how do I stand up? How do I keep fighting? With the Nine of Wands here, it's like, okay, how do I create when something is stealing away my attention and my magic? How do I create what needs to be created in the waking world when my energy is being leached away? And this is going to be a time where we have to be really aware of our emotional energy, of what we're giving our time to, how we're breaking bonds that once bound us, how we're really starting to embrace what we want from life. And we can see things starting to lose interest in certain areas, but we can also see ourselves finding a voice in others and saying, you know what, I'm not being taken advantage anymore. I'm not having my good nature pushed and prodded and taken advantage of. I am moving forward in a sense of dedication, in a sense of work, and in a sense of focus. Now that's going to be really important, but again, we have to make sure that we're not completely tied up in our work identity as our identity during this time. When somebody says, what are you? When people say, oh, what do you do? And we answer immediately with our work because that's how our culture is. Maybe now we start to say things like, oh, well, I'm, a lover of nature or an explorer, or just say something whimsical that people will look at us and be like, what are you talking about? And start explaining our souls instead of start explaining, the drudgeries that we have to do every single day or the things that we think people want to hear. Maybe that would be liberating. It might be terrifying, and it might not be a good idea. I'm kind of listening to Spirit thinking, that sounds a bit intense, but let's try it. Let's try, at least to ourselves, saying I am. And instead of saying I am, an accountant, I am a, doctor, I am an explorer, I am an adventurer, I am a seeker, I am a healer, I am a creator, and see what that brings us and see where that leads us. And it brings us then to the power of this moon, because this moon is I am. I am what? I am embracing the power and the intricacy that is me. I am looking at my fears and my hurts and my pains and my rejections, and I'm understanding where I stand now opposed to where I stood moments ago or years ago. I'm embracing the magic of this moon. I'm embracing the complexity of this moon, but also of living and, existing in general. And I'm seeing how to move forward and where it is that I want to be. I am opening up the doors to me. And as I open up the doors to me during this moon, I am able to be carefree. I am able to release so much of the burdens that I put on myself. And that's going to be rather liberating. There's a fear of, if I take away the hurt and the chaos, what will I have? And it's a dream and a desire. It's a passion forward. Now let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. And so at our roots, where we have, the death and the high priestess, we have a new romantic cycle coming and balance leading us forward. In our inner self, where we have the Knight of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, we have prosperity lies ahead. Resistance. We can't resist the change that is coming. In our emotional self, adjustments are required to bring forward abundance. And in the public arena, nothing will come of the situation. When life is swinging back and forth in extremes, we need to find that balance. We need to find that harmony. A new romantic cycle begins. That's going to be so important. That's where the death card comes in, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. As the veil is lifted from our eyes, balance starts to come. We start to look at things with a harmonizing nature of self, but also desire of heart. Prosperity lies ahead. Yes, as we take the actions to move forward, as we slowly and steadily build our prosperity, build our confidence, move forward towards what we desire. And then when we have the negative energy that we're releasing, there's a resistance. It's kind of like, but I've held on to this for so long. How do I release it? How do I let go? How do I let the glory build when it's trying to be squashed down? And why is it trying to be squashed down? Why am I giving up on an integral and powerful part of my soul and who I am? Adjustments are required. They most definitely are. When it comes to prosperity that lasts for generations, when it comes to this sharing of wisdom and knowledge and desire, abundance is us sitting on a throne, us being the King of Wands. So adjustments are required to take in the prosperity, to embrace the abundance. And it can also be changing the mindset of always having to struggle, of it always being so hard, so challenging, to saying the world is opening up to me and I am calling forward abundance, prosperity, and bounty. Nothing will come of the situation. When we're trying to work things out, and this is why the Nine of Wands came in this Green Witch deck, is because nothing is going to work out exactly as we had planned. We're going to set out our tools. It's going to be a lovely day. And we're going to think, this is what I'm going to achieve. And then life is going to take hold. This is going to be a time where things do not go as they plan. And so, again, we need to release our rigid schedules and say, Spirit, guide me. What will come will come. And this is a time also where we're going to want to dive into the extremes. It's going to be either all one way or all the other. And this is a time for us to say, no, I'm done with the extremes. I'm done with chasing highs or, wallowing in those. I'm going to see what comes. I'm going to see what comes when I let the moon guide me, when I let myself be freed. And it moves us to our subconscious message of the moon, which is, what do you need to release to bring forward pleasure? So what do we need to release to bring forward the pleasure within our lives, to open up our world and our desire and our deeper instinct and knowledge of self and of soul? How do we embrace this? And it's going to, just as everything popped out of my hand and shook up my desk, it's going to shake up our world. What is pleasure? What is happiness? What is joy? What is success? What do we need to release in order to let the pleasure come in? Is it rigid expectations of others? Is it rules that we could never quite conform to begin with? Is it seeking out perfection and saying I can only have this pleasure of creation, of release, when everything is perfect? And saying, you know what, I'm done with it being perfect. What about it being now? So with this subconscious moon message forward, our subconscious chakra message is spiritual awakening. And this is the crown chakra. There is a sense here being crowned with the idea of a greater connection with ourselves, a greater awakening of our knowledge and our desire. And we see it at the root with the high priestess. Nothing is going to be quite as it seems. Everything's going to be more complex, more intricate than we could have imagined. And it leads us then to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, which is the high priest. And the high priest is the Hierophant. The high priest is tradition and institutions and things being a certain way. And this is a time for us to say, it doesn't have to be a certain way. It doesn't have to be just so. Let it create, let it explore, let it become, and let us see what happens if we take that risk, if we move forward in this awakening. Okay? Not in rigidity, but in questioning complexity. Our subconscious rooted message is justice, balance, discernment. And this is a time where we need to be just with ourselves. And it doesn't mean the letter of the law, white page, black print, everything being done just a certain way. It means discernment for the energy that we embrace, that we live in, that we feed off of, that inspires us, that guides us forward. This is a time to be discerning. What is right for me might not be right for you. My favorite drink might not be your favorite drink. I love tea with milk, with cream and honey. And for somebody else, they might go, ooh, I have a best friend who can't stand it. So here, it's understanding that everybody is different. And it's embracing these differences and saying, that's okay. That's what justice is. It's being discerning of the heart and of the soul and of the self, and being able to say, I see the balance that is needed within me. And it leads us then to our subconscious inner self, which is the Three of Swords. Inwardly, we're looking at the heartbreak and the pain and the disappointment. We're looking at the chaos that doesn't seem to stop. And instead of looking at that chaos and letting it rule our lives, what we do is we look at that heartbreak and we say, I see you. I see you and I name you. And I honor and respect the lessons you have taught me. And now I'm moving forward from there, armed with the swords for my own use, not to pierce me, but to defend me, to arm me. It moves us then to the subconscious emotional message, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity, success, bounty, abundance. We're going to be very focused on the waking world emotionally during this time. It's not going to be the spiritual abstract that really pulls us in, Leo. It is going to be the King of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the here and the now, the tangible, the what is felt, and why. So we're going to need to see, what is it that we're building? What is it that we're discovering? What is it that we're becoming? And why is it so intrinsically important? It leads us then to our subconscious public arena energy, which is the Knight of Pentacles once again, slowly and steadily moving forward in success and in bounty, being able to celebrate who we are, but also where we're headed and why. Why do we fight for this prosperity? Why is it important to us? Why is it a part of us? And being able to open up ourselves and our ideas to the bounty that is and will always be leading us forward. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo, and may you have a blessed moon.